Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Todd Chrisley thought about going back to prison after seeing wife Julie without blonde hair. Returning to prison crossed Todd Chrisley's mind after seeing wife Julie Chrisley with her natural hair upon his release. I'm not going to lie. When I first saw you, when I got out of that car, I started thinking about going back, Todd, 56, said during the Wednesday, July 23rd, episode of their Chrisley Confessions 2.0 podcast. But then I thought, let me embrace this. This is a moment. He added, it was a rough moment because I'd never seen you dark in my life. Julie, 30 years, I've never seen you with dark hair. Julie, 52, was appalled by her husband's statement. Are you kidding me right now? She said. Well, I know that, Todd, but I didn't have any choice. Todd and Julie spent 28 months in prison after being convicted of tax evasion and bank and wire fraud charges in 2022. The couple were pardoned by President Donald Trump and released from prison in May. Upon her release, Julie was photographed with gray and brown hair instead of her usual blonde. For people who were asking about that picture, when I went to prison, my hair was blonde, but it had a lot of low lights in it, Julie explained, noting that she was able to get really good highlights at the salon in prison. However, the girl who did her hair was released before her. I got there in January, right? Julie recalled. She left in March. So, she did my hair one time before she left. When her hair started growing out, it was so gray, and she decided to use brown box dye to cover her roots. I did that for a long time, Julie said. I did that for probably a year and a half or so, maybe. Like I've said, in my mind, I was like, okay, I'm going home in August of 2026, So, I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to color my hair anymore. I'm just going to let it grow. Her thought process was that by the time she got out of prison in 2026, her hair wouldn't have any more brown dye because it was so grown out. In my mind, that's what I was going to do. I was just letting it grow, Julie continued. Everybody, even my friends there were like, you need to do something with your hair. Todd responded, so even these chicks in prison acknowledged you need to do something with that situation. Julie concluded with a message to listeners. It was really hard to be a good blonde in prison. Todd Chrisley has always been the king of quips and quick wit, but his latest comment about wife Julie's new hair transformation has fans howling and clutching their pearls. The Chrisley Knows Best star, freshly back in the spotlight after his and Julie's long-awaited release from federal prison, made a confession that was both hilarious and unexpectedly heartfelt. He thought about going back after seeing Julie without her signature blonde locks. Yes, that Julie Chrisley, the polished, Southern belle whose perfectly coiffed golden hair had become as iconic as her pearls and her sweet tea, has gone brunette. And Todd? Well, let's just say it rocked his world in more ways than one. A shocking reveal. According to teasers from the couple's upcoming reality show reboot, cameras captured the exact moment Todd laid eyes on Julie's new look. The moment she walked into their Nashville home, freshly home from prison and ready to debut a more natural version of herself, Todd reportedly froze mid-sentence. Julie had swapped her usual buttery blonde for a rich chestnut brown, a bold move symbolizing a new chapter. Her stylist had convinced her that darker tones would represent rebirth and starting over, and Julie agreed. But Todd's reaction? Less spiritual, more comedic. Lord have mercy, Todd was heard saying, his face contorting into mock horror. I thought I was hallucinating. I almost told the driver to take me back to Pensacola. At least there I knew what color my wife's hair was. Crew members were reportedly doubled over laughing. Even Julie, though initially taken aback, couldn't help but giggle at her husband's over-the-top reaction. Todd, she fired back, hand on her hip. You survived 18 months in prison. I think you can survive a brunette. Symbol of transformation. In all seriousness, Julie's hair change wasn't just for the cameras. After the couple's difficult time apart, Todd serving time in Pensacola and Julie in Lexington, both wanted to redefine themselves and their relationship. During an interview segment in the teaser, Julie explained, I felt like I had lost parts of myself in there. I didn't feel like me anymore. When I got out, I didn't want to go back to the same woman who went in. I wanted to look in the mirror and see someone who had survived, who had grown. The hair transformation was her way of reclaiming her identity. And while Todd's initial reaction was vintage Chrisley comedy, those close to the family say he quickly came around, and even admitted that Julie's new look gave him a whole new crush. Life after prison. The Chrisleys' journey has been far from easy. After months of separation, Both serving their respective sentences for tax evasion and bank fraud, the pair faced immense public scrutiny. Yet, since their release, they've been open about rebuilding their faith, family, and even their humor. Savannah Chrisley, who held down the fort while both parents were incarcerated, revealed on her podcast Unlocked that Todd and Julie's reunion was beautiful but awkward. "Dad hadn't seen Mom without her makeup in over a year," Savannah joked. "Then she comes home with brown hair. It was like he met a new woman. He didn't know whether to kiss her or introduce himself." Despite the laughs, Savannah said her parents' bond is stronger than ever. "They've gone through hell and back," she shared. "Now, they are just trying to find joy in the little things, like teasing each other about hair color." Todd's playful side returns. Fans of Chrisley Knows Best know Todd's sense of humor has always been his superpower. Even during the family's darkest times, his quick wit never disappeared entirely. In one scene teased for the upcoming show, Todd jokes to his son Chase, "If your mama dyes her hair one more time, I'm filing for witness protection. I can't handle all these identity crises." Chase, ever the sarcastic heir, replies, "You better start now, because she's talking about going red next." Though light-hearted, has always masked deep emotion. In a confessional interview, he opened up more seriously about seeing Julie again after so long apart. "When she walked through that door, my heart stopped," he said quietly. "I didn't care if she was blonde, brunette, or bald. She was home. That's all that mattered." He paused before adding with a smile, "But don't tell her that. I have a reputation to protect." Fans react to the transformation. Once photos of Julie's new brunette look leaked online, fan reactions exploded across social media. "She looks absolutely stunning, like a whole new woman," one fan wrote on Instagram. Another joked, "Todd's gonna have to adjust. Julie's in her rebranding era and he's still living in the blonde archives." A third fan praised the move as symbolic. "After what she's been through, changing her hair color feels like reclaiming her power. Love that for her." Indeed, Julie's transformation has become a talking point beyond just aesthetics. Many see it as a metaphor for resilience and reinvention, a woman choosing to redefine herself on her own terms. A new chapter for the Chrisleys. The Chrisleys' return to television is being hailed as one of the most anticipated reality comebacks of 2025. Early previews promise a mix of laughter, healing, and family chaos, classic Chrisley material. Producers hint that the new series will be raw and unfiltered, showing how Todd and Julie navigate re-entry into normal life after prison. Cameras will follow them as they reconnect with their children, rebuild their businesses, and try to find balance between faith and fame. But perhaps one of the most unexpected storylines, Todd's humorous struggle to adjust to all the changes, including his wife's shocking hair color. At one point, he quips, "Julie went into prison blonde and came out brunette. I went in controlling and came out, still controlling. So really, only one of us evolved." Finding humor in healing. Behind the laughter lies something much deeper, a couple choosing to find light in the aftermath of darkness. For all the chaos, the jokes, and the social media frenzy, Todd's love for Julie remains constant. In a closing scene teased from the new series, Todd surprises Julie with a framed photo of her as a blonde, right next to a recent picture of her as a brunette. The caption reads, "Two shades, one love story." Julie's eyes fill with tears as Todd smiles softly. "I may have joked about going back," he tells her, "but truth is, you're the reason I wanted to come home." And just like that, the Chrisleys remind the world why, no matter how wild the headlines get, their story still has heart and plenty of humor.